What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Before we get into the 10-year Norfolk State rebuild with Michael Vick, just wanted to make a little bit of a statement. First of all, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I'm going to make sure this video drops on Christmas. It's Christmas Eve right now. Got a couple years left to finish it, but it will get done. And I just wanted to quickly address, I made a statement on the community post on my X, just relation to the channel and the content over the last little bit. And basically, I've not been in the best of places over the past month, and that's kind of shown up in my content. Like, usually I'm very much content person, can go with all the punches, but yeah, it's just been the last, like, probably, November, starting in November. It just want to not happy. Just a general, in a funk. I mean, I'm here. Year 10 on YouTube, and it's been a solid year. We've had some good growth, but there's still kind of been this like disappointment of like not blowing the channel up more with the college football game, and with Madden 25 not being the best, and pretty much bailing on my Madden content because it was just I can't play it, and all that is kind of maybe more disappointed about like what I do every day, and it hasn't been enough, the opposite of that, appreciating what I do have in the community that we do have and the one that we've been able to build here over the last 10-ish years. I've just been in like a steady state of, head to the ground, record, get a video up, repeat. No engaging with the community. Why even bother to check the comments at it? Doesn't matter. Anxiety, wanting to look at like the video views and analytics, see what's working, see what's not working. And I mean, I went from back in the day, I had daily uploads and like feeling good about every one of those daily uploads for like 8 years. And like the last little bit, it's just like, I'll get a video up whenever I get it up, And this is not one of those things that come out and say, I need a kick in the, I need motivation. We're here with you. I don't really need that. I can look at my analytics. I can see my video performances. I can see with a lot of other things that, like, you guys aren't happy with the videos that I'm making. And honestly, I mean, I don't blame you. I've been going through the motions, and, I've got what I've earned these last 2 months. There's been some other things going on with the channel, sponsorships. I lost a lot of money on sponsorships just due to like poor video performance. A lot, and that's been a bummer. But at the end of the day, I'm an old school type of person. I like to think like the best way to do this, like I don't need to take an Aaron Rodgers retreat. I just gotta use all of this and what I've kind of been avoiding to motivate it to make me better and make better content on this channel. I'm going to get into a consistent upload schedule. We're going to get back on the realistic rebuilds, 10-year rebuilds, the content you guys want to see. Maybe we look at some pink slips. I've had no, motivation to like, I have some really cool ideas that we can use some of those Madden mods that I've been showcasing with you guys. And I just haven't ever like, I'm just going to the FIU series. That now to me represents, lifeless content between myself and the community. I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue that. I had a couple episodes uploaded just for this week because of the holidays. I'm just going to delete those. I don't know what I'm going to do with that series because that's what it was. It was just like, I'm going to sleep all day. And then like right as my kid gets home, instead of spending time with him after I pick him up from school, I'm going to go rush record an FIU episode and just upload it. And then there's whatever. It's on to the next day. Like that's, we're going to get this on track. And if you're still at this point of the video, haven't skipped to the rebuild, thanks, and hopefully giving me another chance to entertain you. Going into year 11 here on YouTube, my main goal is not that I blow up like I ain't nobody, or go viral or try to clickbait, all these different things that people try to flirt with to try to, grow their channel exponentially. My goal this year is just to appreciate what we've been able to build here over the last 10 going on 11 years. And I truly want to celebrate my content that I create with you guys and the community that supports me going forward. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Let's get to work. What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're here for a new College Football 25 rebuild where we take our first HBCU, Norfolk State. We move them to the Sun Belt. We're going to try to work our way through the ranks of college football and end up bringing them, hopefully, a national championship. Why Norfolk State? No, not necessarily because they have an all-time win-loss record below 500. Not because they've never won a bowl game. Not because their last conference title was in like the 70s. Not because their stadium is called the Dick Price Stadium, but because they got out and got one of the most electrifying football players to ever lace up a set of cleats. Michael freaking Vick is their head coach. And I think we can do a lot of great things here with Norfolk State. So taking a look at our school grades, we are not particularly good. We're one of the lowest rated teams, which is done by design. But it's been a minute since I've done like a cupcake rebuild. When this game first came out, I was doing them all the time. I was in a pocket. Might take me a little bit to get the recruits and hours and all that stuff under wraps. But hopefully it won't be too bad. And as you can see by our grades, the only thing we have going for us is Michael Vick is our head coach. So without getting too patronizing or meta, we'll go within the context of recruiting. There's going to be some recruits and their families that look at the history of Michael Vick and say, I don't want any part of that. I don't think what he did is forgivable and not a good person. Never will change my mind that he's not a good person. If you think that, if these recruits think that, I think it's valid. I'm not going to debate that. I am an animal lover. However, I'm on the side of, I think for what he was found guilty of, he was punished probably more than like anybody that's ever done that in history. He was literally the most popular athlete in the world, in at least North America, for like a couple years. He didn't even get like the gigantic contract with the Falcons yet, and had it all ripped away from him. Went to jail, and then when he came back in the league, no one wanted him. Got like it probably wasn't league minimum, but I remember it was like Tony Dungy and like all these people went to bat, and Philly gave him a chance. Worked his way up from the bottom of the depth chart after a year or two. Eventually became the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. That game against the Commanders is a game I will never forget. And he's probably still to this day the most electrifying quarterback I've ever seen wear a Philadelphia Eagles jersey as in my time as a fan. I think he paid his debt to society, and that is why I'm excited to see what Michael Vick can do in this resurrection of his career as a new head coach, trying to fall in the lines of Deion Sanders. Start at an HBCU. For the sake of this video, we're going to be starting in the Sun Belt with a school like that and see if we can work, not necessarily his way around, because we could definitely make a spin-off of this video. What if Virginia Tech, what if we get this going, we win with Norfolk, and then eventually Michael Vick, we go, hey, what if Michael Vick goes to Virginia Tech? That's a different video. But we need to accomplish some things here with Norfolk State. And the end goal here is a national championship at some point. But to put a bow tie on the whole Michael Vick thing, I think there's people that aren't even going to watch this video because they're like, Michael Vick, hate that guy. Don't blame you. If that's how you feel, valid. If you also feel like me, where it's paid his debt to society, let's rally around him. Hopefully, continues to do great things in his life. Let's carry on with this rebuild and try to win a national championship with Norfolk State. So for our recruiting, as you can see, we got 17 targets, 450 hours. Now, the hours is not too brutal because that's kind of what I've been operating with in our main channel Dynasty with Florida International. The one kind of thing I'm going to set with Michael Vick as our coach is we are only going to be able to recruit scrambling quarterbacks. Makes sense. I was thinking like to even refine that down to left-handed scrambling quarterbacks, but because that's getting a little too out there, we're just going to go scramblers only. I feel like that is the easiest course of business. So we have 190 hours left. I got pretty much all 3 stars that we are in like roughly the top 5-ish. That is who we're going to try to chase because we need a lot of work with this roster. I literally am going with the generic cupcake roster. I'm not going to introduce you to the roster. If you've ever used a team builder team with a cupcake roster, it's all the same names. I'm going to try to phase those players out as quickly as I can. But for our quarterback, let's see what we can get here. We have 190 hours. Well, what we are looking for is speed and throw power. All right, Emmett Sims, not the best. Oof. No, thank you, Levi Anthony. Quincy Walker, North Carolina, 88. Ooh, okay, maybe. We got Alex Gillette. Ooh, okay. Let's just... there's no way that speed's going to be enough. Gillette could be it. We got Nick Kafka. Wonder if any relation to Mike Kafka, who would have been a backup for Michael Vick in his time in Philly. We have Wayne Galladay. Ooh, this one could look not too shabby. No gem. Okay, Sims, 75 speed. That's just not enough. I think we got something here with Alex Gillette. Like that. I mean, those are full speed bars. I can continue to dip a little bit, but here's our guy. Bust! Don't care. That's our first quarterback. But for Michael Vick, I feel like the best archetype for him is going to be recruiting. I think that's, the X's and O's. Don't really know how that's going to work. He's never been like an offensive coordinator or a quarterback coach. Motivator. It was a toss-up between motivator and recruiter, but I just kind of went with the recruiting background because I think his name alone is what's going to give him an advantage. And that is going to be more so on the recruiting trail than it would be motivating the roster as is. So we had to find the scheme for Michael Vick, and I think this could be all over the place. You could run pro-style offense because he's freaking an NFL quarterback. You can run spread because of his time in Philadelphia. You can run some of this like similar to his time in Atlanta. You can look at his college time. Frank Beaver was his coach at Virginia Tech, and that's kind of the way that I went for right now. We definitely could say that it's a fluid offensive playbook, and if we don't start getting decent enough numbers, we could pivot a little bit. But I kind of went down, I had to go like to a Reddit thread to find the Frank Beamer coaching tree. For a coach that coached for like 1,000 years, he is like the smallest coaching tree off of that, because I guess he was like a special team kind of background versus like an offensive mastermind or a defensive guy. But eventually, like a piece of his coaching tree led me to two names that have playbooks in college football 25. One is Bill O'Brien, who ran a pro-style offense. One is James Franklin, who is Penn State. And I feel like Penn State makes the most sense for us as a starting point. But, I mean, as we continue to chase scrambling quarterbacks in the mold of Michael Vick, we definitely could potentially pivot our playbook in the future. So here's a look at our roster. Again, it's just the generic cupcake roster that exists on like 90% of the rosters that are on the Team Builder share. So we're not really going to be focusing on the results or the stats this year. And the only reason why I'm even putting this whole first year in the video is obviously to focus on our very first recruiting class. So kind of think about it like the old Maddens when you wanted to relocate a franchise mode. You had to burn that whole first year before you could become that new team. It's kind of what we're doing here. So at the end of year one, Michael Vick takes a team of NPCs, still finds a way to get 3 wins out of this program. Our goal was 4, even though it really shouldn't count till next season. So I feel pretty optimistic we'll hit at least 4 next year. So we end up with the number 47 recruiting class in the nation. Not too shabby. Probably not a crazy NIL fund, but it's Michael Vick being freaking Michael Vick. Wasn't able to scout many of these players, so I don't know if they're going to be 3-star gems or busts for the most part. I would probably be able to tell what they would have been by their depth chart. I'm expecting a lot of normal impacts. Would be cool if we can get a start. Now, the reason why I didn't show you my top class, trust me, we'll look actually in one second, is I don't want you guys to see the number 1 player that we land in the transport. It's absurd. It's a god roll. I don't know how he's a 3-star, but you'll see as we go up. But some of these 3-stars are, like, I'm expecting decent-ish ratings. A lot of them are top 1,000 players. Got some nice impact devs across the board. Klug, Jimmy Klug, number 495. Star Dev Speed Rusher out of Florida. You love to see that. Keep going up here. Gillette, the quarterback that was a bust. We loved his profile. Nice impact. We got McCon from Northern Illinois. He was a 3-star in the portal for a senior, just in case Gillette's not ready to go. Caleb Johnson. You watch college football. You watch Big Tech college football. You know who the hell this is. If you don't know who Caleb freaking Johnson is, as a junior for Iowa in 2024, in real life, 1,500 yards rushing, 21 touchdowns, averaged 128 yards a game, was a first-team All-American. He forgo going to the NFL draft to return to college for 1 more year, but not just any college. Michael Vick's his favorite player of all time. He wants to buy into this. He said, I will be your bell cow. You can feed me more, and I will carry this team to at least, you got 3 wins? He said, I'll get you 6. I'll double your wins. That is how good of a player he is. An unreal grab in the transfer portal. I don't know how he's only a 3-star, but we will freaking take it. So as you can see, our class, a little bit down there, but hey, it is what it is. We went very much any and all 3-stars. We need the gigantic roster turnover from the NPC to get some life into it. I think we did a great job with the top 50 class. All right, so as we start year number 2, manageable schedule. We'll get that juicy matchup week 3 against Virginia Tech. Michael Vick returning back to his old stomping grounds. And then we get into Sun Belt Conference play, which, we're a 79 overall team, which is a good starting point. And when you compare that to a lot of the teams here in the Sun Belt, like we're like an upper mid team. Definitely not the highest rated, definitely not the worst rated. So I think we should be competitive this year. Looking at our initial big board, still kind of taking the same principles that we used last year and applying it to this year because their hours haven't gone up any. So it's, similar approach, looking for as many top 1,000 3-stars that have us within their top 10. And even guys like, look, we have Kevin Emery. We'll still take guys that are known busts because, decent athlete. Got 83 catching, 82 acceleration. Don't know what the speed is. Probably not brutal, but we need that. We need to completely overturn this roster. Plus, I do want to get rid of the NPC players. So there is going to be a lot of we'll take what we can get. As far as studs, I actually was able to fully scout here. I think I already passed him. A gem in Jimmy Wells at defensive end. A power rusher, 287. Doesn't really look that spectacular, but I'll take as many gems as I possibly can. Nothing too crazy, though, for our class, and it probably will be at least another year before we can look at maybe chasing a 4-star. The one thing you might notice is that there are no quarterbacks. Scrambler quarterbacks as well. Nothing looks great for us, honestly. For our recommended, it's all 2-stars. You look at the 3-star prospects that have us within their top 10. Not saying I'm applying house rules to this, but I do have Scrambler as the one, and, all the guys that are top 1,000 are not Scramblers, and we could bend the rules and be like, well, Improviser's kind of Scrambler, but I kind of want to remain packed there. So, now he's going to get a good role for the quarterbacks. Hopefully we get something maybe in the transfer portal again. So let's kind of look at my depth chart here, because Caleb Johnson's a 78 overall. And when I saw that, I said, did I not update the rosters? Because there's no way. He's like a base 80. So then, went through power back rating, he's glitched. There is a significant glitch because he's a 93 overall power back, which makes sense. That's what his rating should be. But when you look at him as a running back, he is a 79. So, I have absolutely no idea how this makes any sense whatsoever. Looking at where this rating could happen. How is a guy that's 93 quickness, 90 power, 91 IQ, 88 elusiveness. He's not a route runner. He's 95. There's no way that he's a 93 overall. So we have a 79, 93 overall running back. He's going to dominate. So we just beat Indiana. The season opener, Indiana made the college football playoff. Coach Signetti. Yeah. Alex Gillette, the true freshman. Pretty good. Would have been nice to say, Caleb Johnson went for 400 yards and 7 touchdowns. No, it's just the bust 3-star quarterback was actually, you know what? Let's actually beat probably the toughest team on our schedule to start things off. So after a big win of Indiana, it was, mixed bag. We end up going 500, 6-6, but that's good enough to make us bowl eligible. And we're taking on Ball State in the Ventures Bowl. Great opportunity for us to finish this season with some momentum against a 9-14. But 5-3 is our record in the Sun Belt, and I think for really what should be considered our first true year in the Sun Belt. 5-3, not too shabby. 4th in the conference. Troy was just a juggernaut this year, 12-1. They're flirting with the college football playoff. They won 11 in a row, but hey, we won 2 in a row to break even at 6-6. And again, a bowl win would be huge. I did see throughout this season, couple player of the weeks by Caleb Johnson, our glitched player who's playing like a 93. True freshman Alex Gillette, who has the skill set that Michael Vick clearly wants in a quarterback. True dual threat. 2,300 yards, rounded up almost 2,400 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 picks, 59% completion percentage. Not bad for a true freshman. Running the ball, though, Caleb Johnson, 1,300 yards and 17 touchdowns. Maybe a little concerned that we don't have the scrambling numbers I think would be appropriate for a Michael Vick-led offense. So that will be something we keep an eye on. Again, we're going with Penn State's offense, but we're not, that's not set in stone. We can pivot. Or, maybe there's also an element of Caleb Johnson just ran the football so well. Weren't going to have the quarterback numbers. Scooter Page, nothing too crazy here at wide receiver. Again, just trying to focus on the players that we recruited, not necessarily the NPCs, which we do have to talk about that on the defensive side of the ball as our true freshman Steve LeBeau, part of Michael Vick's first recruiting class, true freshman with 5 interceptions. And he's looking like a classic true freshman on a small school with 5 picks, as it looks like he's probably going to be heading towards the transfer portal, unfortunately. So it's the first bowl game. We're going to hop in, see if we can get this one across the line, because a bowl win should certainly help with our school prestige, which is going to give us more hours in recruiting, which is going to make things a lot easier. Let's go. Look at the bus. Looking good in the jerseys. One plan. Feed Caleb Johnson. Ever seen a player that shows that they're 70-some overall, but they're really a 90-something? It's literally like the greatest undercover play you possibly can have. You know what? Takes two to tango. Our O-line, they ain't shit. I've looked at their ratings. They're blocking well. I think that needs to be said. I'm very familiar with the Penn State playbook because that's the same playbook we use in my Florida International Dynasty. So, should be some level of familiarity that anytime we do hop on the sticks here with Norfolk State, as long as we remain with Penn State, it's not like I'm coming into this whole thing freaking blind. But I will say, not a great way to end that drive. Got away from running Caleb Johnson. Got to settle for a field goal. Kicker's not particularly good. But we're on the board first. Got him. Let's go, baby. Through the air. Norfolk, first touchdown of the game. Separates ourselves, going into half, up 10-3. They started the second half, opening drive, not only opening drive touchdown, we're only playing 5-minute quarters, but technically they chewed up half the quarter as well, which is smart because they know that we want to run the football, and the less time on the clock, the less likely we are going to be able to run the football. Let's go. 3rd inches, direct snap to Caleb Johnson. Ooh, baby. I will say, though, even though he is up, we know his rating is not 78 or whatever the hell it says he is. But if he is truly a 93, we definitely don't have any of the abilities that a 93 power back like he would have. And abilities are very powerful in this game, so I guess, he is nerfed to a degree. See if we can get him out and involve him. I mean, he is archetype-wise, should probably be a power back, but he is a receiving back. All right. I really want to go for this, but should be able to punch this one in here. Adjust our defense. Come on. Come on. He's got no speed on the outside, dude. It's embarrassing. How did we... never should have kicked the field goal. Fuck! At the end of the season, Clemson ends up winning the national championship. Obviously, our stats didn't really change a whole lot. We know what we did. Love getting Caleb. We just, honestly, this just needs to highlight how much more work and good of a role we need to get in the transfer portal. We need to get a pass rush going on. Hopefully, we can convert a couple guys to stay that are looking like they want to leave. But, I truly do think if we would have won that bowl game, that would have been like a nice boost. But we are able to, take our program from a 1-star to a 2-star prestige. And as you look, the rate of transfer has lowered on all of our potential transfer players. Now, some of these guys are NPCs, so we can't let them walk. Holland is an NPC, but he's actually really good, so I'm actually going to try to keep him. I did. Everyone else, NPC. Best of luck to you. The bad news to the transfer portal is, there's a couple interesting quarterbacks that hit the portal. Eli Holstein. Obviously, maybe not meeting the parameter. Like Barnett would be sick. A couple 4-stars in there would be sick. DJ Lagway would have been perfect. No interest in jumping ship. Again, now it's just the what ifs. If we would have won that bowl game with it. But we do have a 4-star here in Simpkins in the running back room. A couple sophomores. Honestly, any 3-star sophomore I want to be going after. So last year we finished with the top 50 class. This year we finished just on the outside, which makes sense. Again, we went with a little bit of a lower class. That is due to our hours restriction, which should be improved this year. And last year it was so heavily focused on the roster turnover by getting rid of the NPCs. We just needed anybody. Where this year, refined it a little bit. We wanted to chase maybe the 3-stars that looked a little more legit. It's also a total bummer that on the last day of the transfer portal, we lost out on the 4-star Simpkins, who Only an impact dev. I kept him here just to make sure it wasn't like an elite or anything. We still are able to get a legit running back in Peyton Jones, impact dev, and he has a year more of eligibility. So hopefully that works out. Impact on, we went heavy on the O-line. We got Wilfred, impact on Johnson, Starks, Hron, Samuel, Martin. Then on to our high school recruits. We got star dev on Jimmy Hodgins, pass rusher. Got him late. Star dev on Jamie Schultz, pass rusher. Normal on Landers, Tupa. We got normal. Impact. Okay. Yep. Yeah, is what it is. It's a work in progress. Our training results, I can tell you right now, Jimmy Klug went up like 7 or 8 points. He was our only star dev from our very first recruiting class, but he finished the year, I think he was like a 74, and now he's up to an 83, so, I mean, that's 11, potentially. Again, every time I look at this, my memory's not good enough. And like, well, how do you expect people to, like, are you just supposed to take a screenshot of all your team's ratings before training results and then go after, and then you can see how much they, like, how did they get this wrong? Anyways, I know Klug went up a whole lot. I know Dillard went up a whole lot, part of that original freshman class. Really didn't get great development out of Gillette. He only went up +1. He ended the year as a 76. Wide receiver room, didn't really go up a whole lot. I'm not going to say cheesily, but I had a 280-pound center, and I only had 2 tight ends on the roster, so I was like, we'll move him to tight end, and we get 2 platinum abilities. But it's going to be O'Keen, who was a part of our freshman recruiting class, who's pretty solid for us last year. That's going to be primarily our main receiver there. O-line across the board is fairly decent. I mean, I don't know how our team is equaling 84s across the board. I think that's inflated a little bit. But Jimmy Klug going up is huge. Our D-line looks good. Presley developing very nicely. He went up 4 or 5 points. Gates 80. We got 81 for Dillard, who went up a bunch of points. Secondary, nothing too crazy there. Underwood he was an off-ball linebacker that went up +2 points. He was a 77, and he gets +4 training camp as a safety. So we found his more natural position. At our schedule going into year 3, we got Virginia Tech. I feel like that's kind of just a fun thing to do while they have Michael Vick there, and they are ranked. So they got some hype rolling into this thing. But Georgia State revenge game against Ball State, who coming off a 10 win. You don't think Ball State's a good team, but 10-4. And we get to try to avenge that loss in the bowl game. We got our divisional games, which I think now with an 84 overall roster, which I still don't know. We just literally looked through the roster. How is that an 84? That should be like high 70s. But on paper, we should be a lot more competitive in the Sun Belt. Because our team went up a star of prestige, we go from 450 hours to 575, which is still not a huge jump, but we'll take it. Taking a peek at our initial recruiting board. We got 14 targets, so we feel fairly decent about. We've always obliged by some sort of house rule so that I can't just technically I'm only going to go after 2 5-stars or whatever, 4 stars, something unrealistic. I'm always like, well, they got to have us within their top 10 interest, which is still applied. But to make things a little bit more interesting and open up the board, any player that's in our pipeline, I'm going to try to get Jared Paul here. We got a 4-star because he is our top pipeline in Virginia. I feel like that just spices things up just a little bit. We were able to actually recruit some players fully. The last couple recruiting classes haven't had the luxury of having enough points to really fully scout a bunch of players. We got Mulback here, a 3-star gem D-tackle, and I like my D-tackles and offensive tackles and offensive linemen, all with 90-plus strength, especially when they are 3-stars, so I feel pretty decent about that. Got a couple nice wide receivers here. Roland Harris, 6'5" with 90-plus speed. Really just want to add some turbo to that room. We got Ted Ludwig at running back, a receiving back. I'm usually a little partial towards the fast power backs, but a 3-star gem, you can't stick your nose up at that. But the big get, potentially, is the athlete, soon-to-be quarterback, Malcolm Townsend, applying with the second house rule we have in recruiting, which is, as long as Michael Vick is our head coach, which is the entirety of this video, we have to only recruit scrambling quarterbacks. Malcolm Townsend, 3-star gem, scrambling quarterback, 96 throw power, 87 short, 86 mid. Throw on the run could be a little bit better because 85 speed, 93 acceleration. Looks to be a good one. Let's see what happens against Virginia Tech. Just measuring stick. Last year, Indiana was our biggest opponent. We beat them, shockingly. Probably going to be pretty tough to beat Virginia Tech, but damn it. Don't thinking too much to it. Let's roll into our rematch from the bowl game last year against Ball State. This would be a huge win, nice momentum. So, the growth and progress and development. And the loss against Virginia Tech wasn't particularly close, which, it never was gonna be. Maybe we still had Caleb Johnson. The loss against Ball State, pretty frustrating. Definitely a great measuring stick of where we were this year versus where we were last year. Quarterback was fine, run game. I just can't win many games if your defense ain't getting nothing. Update on recruiting: we had the 4-star Jared Paul. We were first, and he was scheduled to make his visit this week. Took his visit a week before with Penn State, and they leapfrogged us to a commitment. It would be kind of early to be landing 4 stars, but it would have been nice. Good news: we got our quarterback. So a lot of good news after 2 straight losses. We're able to start to clean our initial recruiting board. We're into the second wave here, looking at a running back, linebacker, and potentially a safety. We got 340 hours. We're definitely going to be able to pick it up a little bit. On top of that, we are on a win streak. 6-2, and we are undefeated in Sun Belt play. So our losses against Virginia Tech, Ball State. Is Ball State in the Sun Belt? I don't think they are. Either way. I think they're MAC. Feel pretty good. Lot of momentum against ranked UConn. However, we have fallen flat. 0-2 in the kind of 2 big games on the schedule. Out of conference games. Is UConn going to be any different? And we lose again. You know what? For a ranked team, 10 points. Spread was probably more than that. Unfortunately, had the interception. I bet you it's a game where our defense did absolutely nothing again, which we got to fix that. So I'm going back. This could suck. Could be absolutely nothing. But I was like, all right, is there any 4-stars still uncommitted? We have Tyrell Burks, scrambler quarterback, who's in our pipeline. So as part of the second wave, I got an almost 250-pound tight end that looks decent. I just scouted a 3-star gem corner in Damon Kinley, part of our Florida pipeline. He got decent speed, but let's see this. He clearly wasn't available in the preseason. Please be great. He's not gonna be great. Oh no! What scrambler quarterback with 78 speed? And it's just one of those all right, too good to be true. I'm fine. Love to see that. Alex Gillette, the sophomore, gets his first Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Week win over Georgia Southern. You made us undefeated in Sun Belt play with a perfect performance. 3 touchdowns, no picks. So the bad news is we lost against every good team that we've played this year. The good news is undefeated in the Sun Belt. So at worst, even we have 1 game left of the regular season against South Alabama. Even if we lose, we will be in the Sun Belt Championship, and that's pretty good to be, year 3. I wouldn't say necessarily that's ahead of schedule. That's on time. Could have been worse. We ended up winning, and we finished. Hey, we got ranked. Showing respect on the Sun Belt. We're the Sun Belt Championship against Arkansas State, and it's a big opportunity for us to prove that we can actually beat a really good team. So we're going to hop in and play the moments. We are 4 overall points better than Arkansas State, just to give you a quick tale of the tape. And hopefully what unfolds here is, a convincing victory for Norfolk State. As we can see, Arkansas State scores first. All right, not worried. All right, they scored a couple times. Not worried. Oh, okay. I don't think we've been across midfield yet. And, all right, we're just waiting to score. Trying to not. There we go. Okay. A nice little slant cheese across the middle. Question will be if we can get in the end zone here. We'll go for the win right away. I think, honestly, we play for overtime. We play to just get this thing tied up and trust that the better team over an extra potential quarter will win the game. Oh, we got no timeouts. A sack. Still got 2 plays. See, my problem still is, man, we don't have an X. Don't have X factor. Okay, here we go. Don't have a go-to. Like when we snap the ball, I'm looking at the tight end. He's a guy I know, got a good set of mitts. We also know we got a big-time athlete at quarterback. What a drive. Ice in the veins, and we are going to overtime. And it looks like they need my help. Third and goal. Arkansas State scored. So at least we know what we got to do. We play defense first. And I'll tell you what, Arkansas State definitely don't have type of athlete that we got at the quarterback spot. So we get the extra point. It's our turn to put a little pressure on them. We'll go flank or dig, one of my favorite plays in the entirety of the game. Again, need to reiterate, this is a playbook that I'm incredibly familiar with, as it's what we rock and roll with. Oh, that's late. Oh, he still got his toes in. Let's go. It's what we rock and roll with FIU. The Penn State playbook. Look at that, man. Touchdown, baby. Come on. Let's go! Sun Belt champs. Year 3. Mike Vick. We'll get a good bowl game out of this. 2-star prestige program. Trying to make it 3-star this offseason. Get us a lot more hours for recruiting. Take this program to another level. What a win. Goddamn right. Didn't stick around for the trophy ceremony. We got bigger fish to fry. Wow, Heisman Trophy goes to Alonzo Burnett. We saw him in the transfer portal. He would have been like the best potential target for us. Clearly, he made the right call. And we are in quite a bowl. Now, I will say, North Carolina has been the team. Everyone has this. You play college football 25. There's always that one school that steals your players. So far, feels like North Carolina's kind of been that pain in our ass. So it'd be nice to get a nice little win here in the Birmingham Bowl. Number 19, Norfolk State. Number 15, Tar Heels. But ultimately, it does, winning the Sun Belt, that's our goal. It's just bonus. Oh, shit, we won. It's just icing on the cake, because I don't know if this bowl games really affect your school. It probably does in a way. Hell yeah. Good on the fellas. Good on Mike Vick. Connor Presley, 2-sack performance. Hell yeah. That's part of our Michael Vick recruiting class. No NPC, no transfer portal. Oregon ends up winning the national championship in a very one-sided matchup against Boston College. Looking at our stats, we finish as the number 20 team in the country. Hell yeah. Double-digit wins. Hell yeah. Alex Gillette, Michael Vick's first quarterback recruit. 3,400 yards, 33 touchdowns, 5 picks, 66% completion percentage. The best quarterback in the Sun Belt Conference. And if we're thinking, what's the best case scenario for Michael Vick as a head coach? I think it all, in a ways, he's can he become the next QB guru for scrambling quarterbacks? Imagine if he becomes the Lincoln Riley of dual threats. That would be incredible. And that's kind of what we're doing here. We have another big-time quarterback coming in from high school. Great competition potentially on our hands. Jones, who we got in the portal, not obviously drastic drop-off from having Caleb freaking Johnson, who was a 93, even though he wasn't officially a 93. But I still think that's a pretty damn good year, because I know for a fact rushing numbers are not great. A lot of good running backs finished with 700 yards rushing. So 900 there for an 80. Feel pretty good. Gillette scrambling a lot more than he did last year. Remember last year, I was questioning, is the Penn State playbook great for this dual threat, because quarterback had 100 yards rushing. Definitely finding more of a rhythm here this year. Mike Vick and his back. That's 40 total touchdowns for Gillette. Gene Homer, the freshman, 13 touchdowns. Moore was 7. 6 for Bell. Okina, tight end, was decent. Looking at the defense. Oh, we got some sacks here. Connor Presley, the freshman, 9.5. Jimmy Klug, our first star dev player, was great last year. Great again this year. 9.5 sacks. 5 from Cade Bloom. 4 picks from DeMarvin Holland. 3 from Buckshank. Pretty happy with these numbers, honestly, across the board. Hell of a year. And we end up, wow, not a single first-team Sun Belt is discussing. Gene Homer, wide receiver, second team. We got Lander. We got some freshmen, which is decent, but I refuse to believe we don't have multiple guys that are. It's still just the disrespect. They don't respect Norfolk State as a member of Sun Belt Conference. Now, I don't know when our school would get our improve. There's no way we go 11-3 and don't increase our prestige. That must be something that happens after this stage. Because again, like, what? We won our conference championship. There's no way we do all that and don't go up prestige. There's no way! Ooh, we're going to have a good transfer portal recap, but we get one of the 2 4-stars we're chasing, Naheem Chandler. And he's a sophomore, so he'll be a junior. We got 2 years of him. And we get a top 100 player in the portal, scrambler quarterback Jimmy Khalil from Alabama. We did the damn thing this year as far as recruiting is concerned. We get our first 4-star, legitimate 4-star, and we're back with a top 50 recruiting class. Now, here's going to be where things could get fun, especially from the transfer portal. We had a lot of good ones, but Jimmy Khalil, the quarterback, scrambler, of course, because it was so competitive, we had such a wide net cast for the transfer portal. Wasn't able to scout him, so I'm just going to hope that a top 100 player is going to be pretty good with a pretty good dev trait. And we get a star. We don't know what any of the stats, but star dev is definitely, as it stands right now, there's a chance that maybe someone else we recruited has a better dev trait. But the highest ceiling, and he's a freshman, so he's going to come in with 3 years of eligibility. We got a 6'4" deep threat with normal impact on the freshman. Elite dev on Kane Stewart, freshman defensive tackle. Let's go. Impact on Dynasty, the 4-star. Naheem Chandler, sophomore, so he's going to come in with 2 years of eligibility. He's an impact. Star dev on Charles Lester, the sophomore corner. Impact, normal, impact. Not too shabby. Now getting into our high school recruits. Normal, star dev on the 3-star gem corner, Damian Kinley. Normal, impact. We got the platinum abilities there, natural. Team player on Ted Ludwig, the running back, star dev trait. Love adding that to the room. Normal. Not the best div traits, but here's the last one. Townsend, the next, on paper, good quarterback we recruited. Oh, at least, it's better than a normal dev trait. Impact dev with that cannon of an arm. But we got 2 quarterbacks coming in this recruiting cycle. And I'm a little more excited to see what might be under the hood here for Jimmy Khalil. Before our transfer portal gets, Charles Lester's a 79 corner. Chandler is an 83 corner with a ridiculous 99. Change of direction. Trying to see who else, some of the other big dogs. Stewart with the elite dev is 76. Johnson, 74. The O-line is looking healthy, to put it lightly. The wide receiver room, didn't get the great. We got 73. Fullback is what is running back. Ludwig, 67. That's what happens when you're dealing with 3-stars, even 3-star gems. You'd be pretty lucky for them to be above a 70, but I want to see Khalil at quarterback. What do we go? 80. Let's go. Comparing him to Gillette. Well, somewhat similar athletes. He's way stronger. Throw power, similar. Accuracy, similar. Better throw on the better scrambler. Look at that, 96 play action, but how valuable is play action? Look at the carry. Ball. He could be a goddamn running back. Honestly. We'll go with him at QB for now. To start year number 4, looking at our schedule, hey, at least we don't have that pigeonhole like first couple week against a rank opponent. We do got Virginia Tech and Ball State. Want to try to run that back and see if we can avenge those losses. I still have no idea how we did not go up a prestige, because we are still going to be dealing at an absolute deficit with our recruiting hours, even though we are one of the best, highest rated teams in the entire country. No one said it was going to be easy. So, back to work. And taking a look at our recruiting board as we start year number 4, starting to creep into territory where we can get some 4-star interest. We are winning a bowl game, coming off a CUSA championship. But we do got a lot of players here that are just first in interest, so we'll stack the board there a little bit. We have Jeremy Curse at linebacker, an athlete at 6'1", 222. He looks like a beast. Honestly, out of everybody in this class, he's probably going to be the one I want to target the most. With that 91 agility, 90 speed, 90 acceleration, has the platinum mental. Pretty good. Definitely want to chase him. And actually, if we're going with the strictest of house rules we've ever applied, we are in his top 10. Got a couple 3-stars. We are not past the fact of don't have enough hours to we got to bust here on Kinlaw at tight end. We need another tight end, just a depth tight end. But I don't have enough hours to go back to the well and start recruiting another one this early in the cycle. But definitely will be a position I want to try to come back on. We have Mitchell Randolph, 4-star. Top pipeline in Virginia, but he's a bust. but he's 6'4" with 96 acceleration, 93 agility, has the shifty ability, take off. Might have a great dev trait. Maybe the skill caps won't be too bad. And also, we're looking at Ogunjobi, a top 100 player, a 4-star quarterback out of the Virginia pipeline. Scrambler, so he's meeting the parameters that we've kind of set for our Michael Vick quarterback. Not the cheesiest looking player, but that throw on the run and break sack is really high. Has decent mobility, 92 throw power. Again, if he had a good role with the skill caps, definitely a player I think is worth pursuing early on. And we did get one insta commit here. Top 1,000 offensive tackle, even though I am disgusted with 74 strength. The only bit of controversy coming into year number 4 is who's going to be our quarterback. We have Alex Gillette, who's been developing very nicely. Or we have Khalil, who we stole away from Alabama in the portal. And looking at the abilities, similar. I think, honestly, tiebreaker, when it's this close, is skill caps. Who has better skill caps? Who has the higher chance to develop? Jimmy Khalil has the better dev trait as a star dev, and looking at his skill caps, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not brutal. Honestly, still has plenty of room to grow, especially in IQ and accuracy. They ever have more throw power, but I'd say 92 is probably the bare minimum I would want personally for a quarterback, especially when I hop on the sticks. We don't get Alex Gillette, the 2-year starter, impact dev, but you look at the skill cap, like he's done. He has a chance to go up one more bar of accuracy. We don't have like architect in our coaching tree, so we can start like breaking through some of these skill caps. So while it's incredibly harsh, actually I also want to look at Townsend just because he's coming in with the platinum off platform ability. What's your skill caps looking like? Brutal again. God damn. Yeah, so I will go with Khalil as a starter. It just makes the most sense. Start off year 4 in the Michael Vick Bowl, as we'll call it. Nice win, man. Still, with our success last season, feels good beating Virginia Tech, but we need a lot more out of the Alabama transfer, Jimmy Khalil. 2 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. At least we have options if we want to make a change at quarterback. We're off to a 4-0 start here in year 4. Perfect. All 4s across the board. And speaking of 4s, our 4-star linebacker here, Jeremy Curse, just committed. Top 150 player, probably pound for pound, the best recruit we've got so far. I mean, you look at the stats, this guy has all the makings of an elite playmaker. Smells like an elite dev trait as well. 90 speed, acceleration, 91 agility. And I get it, he's a small, he's one of those like safeties that kind of plays linebacker from the Builder thing. But I mean, it looks like he'll probably break into the 80s in strength. He's not like an actual safety. And that agility is off the charts. Kind of annoyed in online Dynasty, which is what you have to use a team builder. We don't get the pop-ups when recruits sign that the same way I do when I do an offline. I don't know if any of you guys have experienced that, but after saying that Curse might be the best 4-star that we've ever landed, we then go ahead and kind of top that by getting a top 100 quarterback in John Ogunjobi. That looks like an is that Larry's cousin? But the stats look pretty good. It's not like a freak. It's not like this is going to be our unicorn. But there's a chance as a 4-star. There's no gem, but we can optimize. That could be a star dev. That could be good skill caps. Excited to see what he looks like in training camp. All right, let's paint a picture here. It is now week 11. Slipped up a couple times. We're 3-2 in conference play. We were very good last year in conference play. Undefeated. Already slipping up twice. And now we have a chance to pretty much make up for those 2 early L's. If we can handle similarly ranked Georgia State here in week 11. Oh yeah, baby. We got Draymond Gates getting Defensive Player of the Week. Humble performance. 1 TFL and a sack. But it is a win and a jump up to 18th in the country for the good guys. Look at that. Forced 5 interceptions on Raglan. Khalil has struggled with turnovers this season. 3 touchdowns there. Run game was solid. Gene Homer, who had a great campaign last year as a true freshman, stepping up again here this year as our primary target. We're able to get pressure after the quarterback. Kane Stewart, that elite dev, transfer portal D tackle, an absolute monster going forward. But the 5 interceptions. Gates gets that. There you go. That's how about we show the interceptions when we get a Player of the Week performance? Not just like that's the most important stat. As to why he got him. That's outstanding for the 85 overall player. Underwood, Holland, and LeBeau also get on the board. Hell yeah. Let's talk about the reason why we're here right now for just a second. Michael Vick and how he's developing as a head coach. Obviously, last season, 11-3, Sun Belt champions, won the Birmingham Bowl. maybe a little generous to give him the A- prestige, but it's got to be like Deion Sanders, man. The amount of hype that Michael Vick will accumulate and maybe over-generate, maybe get overhyped a little bit if he's good at Norfolk State. This is what's going to happen. So we have maxed out the recruiter in the top part, which is usually kind of how I like to meta out my ability board. And I think I want to work my way down towards Architect, our current rivalry game against JMU, which we did win this year. Obviously missed that earlier in the rebuild, so we have to continue to wait because we only have the one rivalry game a season. But we can work our way on motivators. Michael Vick, we were kind of split between, do I go recruiting as his base starting skill, or do I look at motivator? I kind of justified why I think. I think the power, the name of Michael Vick's going to give him more of a recruiting background. But I think there's doesn't he do speeches and all that kind of stuff? Like, there's an element that I definitely could see Michael Vick being a motivator, a Mike Tomlin type coach, a Nick Sirianni type coach, right? Yeah, we'll put Sirianni out of Mike Tomlin. But if that's the case, let's start spending these points here in passing game and working with the quarterbacks. Oh, man. This is gigantic matchup. We're going to get a front row seat for this one. Number 6, Coastal Carolina. Remember that one year they were good? Graham, what was their quarterback's name? I think he's still in college, like year 9. Someone's going to comment it. Who Coastal Carolina's quarterback was. But they were really good for a minute there. But they're outstanding right now. Undefeated. Chance we beat them here. We will play them again in the championship game. But you lose here, you could probably say goodbye to that little number being next to our name this offseason. Jesus. Now, just to see what's going on here. How are they? Look at this quarterback. 37 touchdowns, 4 picks. I guarantee he doesn't throw into the red and have his wide receivers drop because you're throwing into the red and complaining that they're dropping passes because you're throwing into the red. But 37 touchdowns, 4 picks. Good God. The run game's nothing special, but they got a couple beasts there at wide receiver, a couple white lightnings. What are we going to deal with on the offensive side of the ball? They get a hell of a pass rusher, Trayvon Swanigan. Okay. 6 picks, Miles Woods. Ballhawks as well. So for tail of the tape in this one, we are a better roster. We are beating their overall by 5 points. So I'd like to think at some point we're going to play to our rating in these big matchups and understand that it is college football. Majority of the time, the better roster wins. But we got to have to work on Michael Vick's motivator here a little bit because this is an offense that just lost 10-0. That is a score from the 20s. Well, we never stood a chance. At the end of the day, Michael Vick did not care to look that the Sun Belt is obviously split into 2 conferences. And the leader of said conferences, does it? It seems like it should, if it works like how almost anything else would have conference works. But say we were better than South Alabama, say we had a better conference record, would we, regardless of East or West, the 2 best teams play, or is it just the winner of East versus? You know what? We need to play a lot better so that we can answer that own question. All right, back, and we got the Birmingham Bowl again. Won it last year against ranked North Carolina. Not as prestigious this season, but let's do our best to win this one again and try to improve the prestige of our school, because I still think the thing that's kind of holding this team from boom, just can't, don't have the recruiting budget yet. The NIL's not there. Never in doubt. And this game wasn't the blowout that would have been nice to see as a ranked opponent against an unranked Louisville, but a win is a win. And we had to come back 15 points in the 4th quarter to kind of put that one away. I mean, Louisville had a decent quarterback, 90 overall, but Khalil, who every time I've kind of keyed in on him, has not had the best of games. Two rushing touchdowns, I suppose. That brings it up to 3-1. And a lot of times we say for Josh Allen, that's pretty good. He's going to probably win the MVP. So maybe it's not that bad. We shouldn't be too harsh on the old quarterback. We got 2 interceptions by DeMarvin Holland. I think he's like the last of the remaining NPCs from this team builder roster. Hell yeah, salute to you, sir. To answer a question I had earlier in the video, End of season recap is when you will tell if you go up prestige or not. We want to have a half-star prestige, which, you know, we'll take anything going forward. It's progress. Our season stats for year number 4, struggling at quarterback. I think it was the right decision to go with Jimmy Khalil. However, the stats don't seem to indicate that's the best. Now, he is only starting, and really the difference between him and Gillette was the fact that Khalil had the better dev trait and a better skill cap. So maybe this burner year and the development we're about to see in the offseason is going to be better than what we're going to see from Gillette. Hopefully that gamble does pay off, because that certainly was one. We haven't had the running back production since we lost Caleb Johnson. Shocking, but got to figure it out. Getting some dual threat ability from Khalil. We don't have a dominant wide receiver 1. Homer with decent stats, but again, the rating, 73. We're still at that holding pattern as a program that we can't jump up in the food chain as far as landing the 4s. The 4s that are going to be 90s until we get that prestige up. Defensively, decent performance. Kane Stewart, the elite dev transfer in the portal. Like, that's where we're going to have to do our work. We're going to have to find these gems in the transfer portal for the time being. He's been incredible. And Holland, the NPC, finishes with 6 interceptions on the season. LeBeau with 4. He's been a ball hawk. Chandler, the 4-star transfer portal get, also with 4 interceptions. Some of our big targets in the transfer portal. We have a top 50 player in Trayvon Dunbar from West Virginia. We have a number 5 player in the portal at a Tulsa, ranked Tulsa, Elijah Green. He's a junior, but anytime there's a top 5 player, you might as well go chase down after it. A couple other top 100 players. Got a top 50 player in the 4-star center at a Tennessee, Satterwhite. No crazy, cheesy portal player I don't foresee. But if we get most of these guys down, that's going to bring our class definitely top 40, top 30. Let's go, Mike Vick hooking us up with the number 5 overall player in the transfer portal. We also strike with the 4-star Trayvon Dunbar from West Virginia. The National Signing Day results are in. We wanted a top 30 class. 30 on the dot. Peeking through our incoming class, Jordan King was a top 100 player in the portal. Impact dev at tackle. Grubbs normal. Couple normals here. Star dev on Denzel Batman. He's coming over as a freshman. So that is 3 years of a star dev corner. He was a top player. Lamar Killebrew. Now this is getting into our recruiting class. And look at that with Killebrew. 1,200th player. It's kind of part of that. Like, we'll go back for the second wave of recruiting. Elite dev trait. I'm excited to see those skill caps. That is incredible. That's like one of those, you jot that down. You get that guy in the field as fast as you possibly can, especially looking at all these 3-star normals. That is brutal. Elijah Green, impact dev, and impact on Dunbar, our 2 4-star lands in the portal. And our 2 4-stars landed from our recruiting class, Jeremy Curse. And honestly, with those stats, should be a top 100 player in my opinion, but a top 150 player, star dev, likely a day 1 starter at linebacker, and Ogunjobi, the 4-star quarterback, number 77 in the country. Take your prediction. What is the dev trait going to be? My gut says it's going to be impact dev and a wet fart. Would love to see star above. Normal. Quickly get a peek at the ratings of the players that were able to land in the transfer portal, especially the 4-stars. Dunbar is an 83 overall, and at corner, the number 5 player in the entire portal, 88. Let's go. What a get. I think with Killebrew, disappointed. Elite dev got me excited. Probably just redshirt him. Utilize that dev trait over the redshirt season will probably be better, and better for the team overall than having him jump up over probably after training camp an 80+ overall player. But at a training camp, we got our first 90 rated player in Jimmy Klug, the star dev defensive tackle that we brought in ways ago. But the big training camp battle was going to be the quarterback spot, and it's just kind of what we knew. Maybe Gillette doesn't deserve to have his starting spot stolen away, because he was our starter. But then we added Khalil from Alabama in the transfer portal, saw the skill cap, saw the dev trait, and look, first training camp, it's like, well, Gillette's at his ceiling because we knew that, and Khalil is going up because we also knew he would. That's why he's our starter. Hopefully, we don't have a guy that's struggling to have more touchdowns than interceptions here in year number 5. Number 5 schedule, we're going to go with what they suggested with us. We got Virginia, we got Virginia Tech, but at least on paper, things will change. Coastal Carolina came out of nowhere last year to finish as one of the best teams. Now they don't have a ranking, which is kind of weird, coming off an 11-3 undefeated Sun Belt season. But we have no ranked opponent, at least preseason, so no one's feeling too high on any of these teams. Maybe we go undefeated. Taking a look at our initial recruiting board, it's mostly made up of team needs. You got a 3-star safety here, a couple 4-star corners. Don't have a whole lot of point management. So I think it's best to go with like a 4-star bust that's interested in us and then having to spend a bunch of points recruiting and trying to round all that stuff down. We got Ibukam, a 4-star gem at pass cover linebacker. Jordan might as well be a gem. Outstanding profile for a guy that can probably play anywhere on the defensive line with us. 4-star Garrett with 94 strength. Pinnock, 4-star tackle, looks pretty decent for a top 500 player. We got Crumpler, looks like a nice running back, but I think the big two, our wide receiver, we haven't had that alpha. Both these guys look like legitimate alphas with their profile, with the athletic ability, and they're physical. They're not like that cheesy deep threat. They are like absolute monsters. So we're going to have to do our best to try to bring them in. And then we're always trying to chase that dragon until we find, that at minimum star dev, great skill cap, maximum elite dev, no skill cap quarterback that can truly transform a program. We're probably not going to find one of those guys as a 4-star no gem, 4-star normal. But we'll keep chasing because you never know. We might get a god roll. Recruiting updates. It just wouldn't have been fair to let me get these two freaks. I don't necessarily want to say I picked a favorite, but let's just act like Ryder's my favorite. It also needs to be said this season, we're a 90 overall. Like, that is good enough to compete with anybody in the college football playoffs. So we need to not almost, we don't have to go undefeated, but like 2 losses minimum. As you can see, we got a blemish on our record, and it is the Michael Vick Bowl against Virginia Tech. Very disappointing that we only put up 7 points, and Jimmy Khalil, polarizing starting quarterback. That is probably his worst game in a Spartan uniform. And appreciate our Week 5 victory over Georgia State. Jimmy Klug, our best homegrown defender of the rebuild to date. Hopefully we can change that with a hellacious performance. 2 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and a player of the week performance. We'll give credit where credit's due. Bounce back win over Coastal Carolina. It's Jimmy Khalil, who we saw against Virginia Tech, though 4 interceptions. Massive question marks about whether he's good enough quarterback to bring us to the levels of winning the end goal, which is a national championship. But glad that he's getting his confidence back here midseason. If he can finish strong, I definitely think at worst a Sun Belt championship game should be in order. Week 9 update, we have won out since the Virginia Tech loss, and we got that little number back next to our name with all conference games left to play on the schedule. Feeling pretty good that we can win out. Oh yeah, baby, the number 13 Norfolk State Spartans are in the Sun Belt Championship against an unranked opponent. We got to crush them. But we'll give them credit. They might not be ranked, but 10-2 is an impressive record. Again, our team is a 90 overall. We are beating up most, if not every team in the Sun Belt. This wasn't a pummeling, but it was a convincing win. 27-17, getting our second Sun Belt championship in the last 2 seasons. 3 touchdowns from Khalil. Still think we might have some turnover issues that have not been remedied throughout this year for, the bigger and better games that we have remaining on the schedule. But defense is playing at a high level. And with that Sun Belt championship win, I appreciate it. Our first appearance in the college football playoff. Not only that, there's a chance. We got North Carolina, who we beat in the Birmingham Bowl in year 3, 2 seasons ago. Or we get Western Kentucky, which I know for an absolute fact our roster is going to be way better than theirs. All right, no big, just the number 2 team in the nation. But we beat them 2 years ago with pretty much the same roster, and their roster probably hasn't gotten that much better. Yeah, tail of the tape, stronger roster. Photograph front row seats here, potentially hop into the biggest game in Norfolk State history, college football playoff in year 5 of Michael Vick. And it's not like we had to follow the predictable storyline of jumping to the ACC or something like that. No, we are doing this all while in the Sun Belt Conference. I feel like that's the way Michael Vick would want it. So, not great. That first touchdown of the game goes late in the first half to North Carolina, so they go in halftime with a lead. And that we are only getting field goals. That is absolutely brutal. Touchdown there. And we have a minute. Let's go help him out. Just got closing line from hell there. It's not looking great. 3rd and 17. Oh my God, dude. Not even a chance. 4th and a mile. I mean, we just got to go rocking back. We got to go Verts. See if we can put a nice green throw on somebody's chest. Oh, actually, no. There's... Nope. That's all. I mean, just ahead of schedule. Absolutely humbled. We weren't ready. I wasn't ready. We'll be back. We'll learn from this. Disappointing loss, to say the least. Because at the end of season summary, we lose coach stability. Our coach prestige, that makes no sense. We are 5 years removed from taking an HBCU to the college football playoff. Coach prestige should be through the roof. Pro potential did go up. But unfortunately, we are still stuck on 2.5-star prestige for another year. Our stats this season, I was kind of hoping we'd look through this and be like, wow, there's room for promise that we're going to be even better next year. Well, Khalil's kind of where he was as a sophomore starter. Really hoping we can find a QB like a Lenora Sellers or something like that in the transfer portal. Our run game was great. That's definitely a positive. Back at 1,000 yards, back getting in the territory of like the production we have with Caleb Johnson. Receiving game is, we still don't really have that alpha, but we do have one coming in from high school that I think is going to be an instant upgrade at wide receiver 1. Sucks that we couldn't get any other extra offseason hardware for Jimmy Klug, the greatest homegrown developed talent Norfolk State's ever had. He better be a draft pick. That's probably why I feel like our pro potential is going up. Chandler as well could potentially get drafted 86 overall, kind of meeting those thresholds, but 6 picks. And he runs fast. That's desirable. He should be like a 2nd or 3rd round pick. I thought, honestly, the 2 4-stars that we got in the portal would have a shot. I just need to start padding my drafting stats so that we have options in our coach tree. But we are going to be sending Jimmy Klug. It looks like a 5th round pick. Someone's going to be getting an absolute steal for our first player drafted in the rebuild. Oh, yeah. Improved his draft stock. Goes round 4. Salute. That's definitely the role of quarterbacks I want to see. Look at all the 4-stars, dude. Couldn't get one of those? Man, now I'm just thinking, minds are racing. If we win that one, we get advance to the semifinal college football playoff. We're probably like a 4-star prestige school. Oh, so... Damn it. So our fall ends up being okay from the transfer portal. Couple top 100 players, but also don't necessarily think we're getting any true game changers. Because our class was on the smaller side, while we have the most 4-stars we've ever pulled, we just simply don't have the quantity to compete with the points, which I'm not trying to do here in today's rebuild. And yeah, we end up with the number 50 class, which is not bad at all. Okay, dev trait lottery. Let's see what we may be able to get. We got Quinton Maldine, the freshman pass rusher with the star dev. We love to see that. Star dev on the freshman transfer, Sharif Smith. Okay, I'll take that. Looking at the players that we actually recruit, a couple impacts here. Terrell Ryder, we need to be great. We need to be the alpha. I will absolutely take a star dev on this beast of a physical wide receiver. Well, I'm shocked it's not a top 100 player. Normal on the 4-star, impact on the 4-star, and Briggs, our best player, a top 50 player at quarterback. Star dev trait, give me some good skill caps, baby. Come on. I'm going to tell you what, I don't know if there's going to be a better team in all college football that had a better, more productive training camp than Norfolk State. Jimmy Khalil, again, there's no ceiling. His potential has, there's a limit. We've seen the skill caps. But look, we got Towns. He's up to 98 throw power. Oh, my God. He's giving up a lot there. He's, honestly, oh, there's some, you know what? I will say this. Clearly, we should be going with Khalil. Townsend, oof, that is if Khalil's struggling, if we like somehow like lose too early, I think we have a quarterback at least on the roster we can potentially pull the trigger on. Running back room, Landers is up to a 92 overall. Wide receiver room, got a couple 80s to go with the freak that we just brought in from the recruiting cycle. Offensive line is, this is the bread and butter. Our run game was great, and I think if we're going to be able to go on another playoff run, it's going to be because of our run game, and in part is the O-line. 89, 90 for Willingham, 86 at center, 93 Javon Conklin. There's a draft pick, absolutely. And then we got 91 at Shaq Brown at tackle with a depth 89. So it's just elite playmakers across the board. Defensively, we have to replace Klug, which is going to be tough. But we have Schultz and Hodges, who were both very high dev trait players when we recruit them in the same cycle. A lot of depth across the defensive line. Elite dev, Kane Stewart. I'm expecting a huge year out of him. Linebacking core, maybe not as strong as it has been in years past. But we have Curse, who was a big-time recruit for us a year ago. He's making gigantic gains to his game. It looks like an absolute monster. Secondary, across the board at all the starting positions. We're very happy with the depth. This, I mean, it's better than last year's team. And we went 12-2 and made the college football playoff. So anything is possible as long as our quarterback, who's kind of been stuck by like his ceiling of 26, 27 touchdowns, he could break through that ceiling this year. And with the hell of a training camp he had, leads you to believe he could. We could go far. We could make a run out of things here. Year 6, we start with a preseason ranking of 24. It's a great starting point, but we are going to be only going up. We got Virginia Tech, Arizona State, New Mexico State, FCS. Can't just come out and say that should be 4-0, but based off of their records last year, we should be optimistic that, I mean, Georgia Southern should be a win. Troy had 1 win a year ago. Marshall will be a tough one. They're in our own, they're in the East with us here in the Sun Belt, so they're probably going to be our biggest competition. Georgia State ain't bad. Coastal Carolina ain't bad. Brutal that our one rivalry game is Week 12, because we're one rivalry win away from being able to unlock the architect in our coaching tree, and we're not going to be able to do that just until after Week 12, and that is also hinged on the fact we got to win that one. But I'm seeing like a real nice path getting back to the Sun Belt Championship in the college football playoff if our team plays up to their potential. We're 90 overall, 92 offense. Preseason recruiting board is juicy. We're going to swing for the fences, go for quality over quantity this year because, again, we didn't have great development in our school's prestige, so we're not going to have more hours. So we need a punter. Dubose, the 4-star safety. We need a safety for our roster. Lacey's kind of a little bit of a surplus. We don't have to grab a corner, but a top 5 interest 4-star. That's not a bust. That's a top 200 player. We're going to be interested. I need 2 D tackles. I want to kind of revamp the interior there a little bit. So we have both Willie Leonard and Ricci. I suppose, you could make the argument that, you need to find and we just get one of those. Honestly, it's probably going to be in our best bet because you only need 1 D tackle. So I think I will go with Leonard just because he gives us a little bit more of a pass rush ability. We need 2 guards, so we got the 4-star gem Ezekiel and Pfeiffer, who is our number 1. We're probably going to go very low points on him. Let's just scout him here. Please be a gem. Really hate chase after 3-star non-gems. There's nothing there. I mean, whatever. We got Abraham on the offensive tackle side, top 10 player for his interest, so that's kind of why we're chasing after him. Don't need a tackle. 2 wide receivers. We are swinging for the fences, going pipeline only from Virginia. Top pipeline, 4-star wide receiver Nicholas Melvin, route runner with 94 speed. Love that. We have Wordle, the deep threat cheese. You kind of know what you're getting there. We have Ireland, who has us in his top 10. Don't need a running back. Another player that is kind of surplus. If hours get a little tight, we could put him on the chopping block. But I love the fact 93 speed, 90 acceleration, 90 agility. Interesting profile. The quarterback's the most important spot. And we have within our lowest pipeline, Florida, Marlon Radigan, 4-star gem, 300th. Like nothing too crazy, but the stats look very good. Very much a Mike Vick style player. And we'll go chasing for him as we continue to try to find that QB that can bring us and win us a natty. We got to do a 3-0 start. We beat Arizona State, and we'll just reference this because Arizona State is one of the more topical teams in real life right now in the college football playoff. Cam Scatabo, Stan Club, where you at? And you just, hey, we'll win this way. We know we don't have the electrifying Heisman contender quarterback. We know we have good defense, great offensive line, can run the block and control the clock. I'll win ugly all the way to a natty if that means that's what this 90 overall team has to do to play to its potential. Here in Week 9, we are still undefeated and the number 10 team in the country, but we have our toughest competition remaining in the Sun Belt this season. Georgia State, not great in conference play, 6-2 overall, and it's time to remind them that it ain't your daddy's Sun Belt. Some of the best teams reside in the Sun Belt, and there's a reason why they're 2-2 and about to be 2-3. Our recruiting board, it's still one of those things where our school prestige and amount of hours isn't lining up with our roster and our roster expectations. So we did lose a lot of 4-stars because we just had limited assets here. We got the 4-star Ireland. We got the 4-star D-tackle Leonard, which is D-tackle is a huge need for us. We got the 4-star gem wide receiver deep threat, who's going to be a beast, need for us. And we got the Hail Mary swing. Mixing sports, that's what we do here. Of a potential dynasty changing quarterback in Marlon Radigan. I had the biggest expectations and hope about him so far out of all the other guys we brought in. Rest of the players still open. They're just 3 stars trying to fill out what our team needs are going to be. And I'm going to gamble that the transfer portal is going to be very, very generous to a team that's going to be super competitive in the postseason this year. We get a legit win over Georgia State, and what has been not necessarily the case every step of this undefeated start, we put up good production on the offensive side of the ball. 34 points. It's a game where Khalil, of course, he's a turnover-type quarterback, but 3 touchdowns. Happy with that. Our run game was solid. Hat trick of touchdowns for the wideout there, and defense got some pressure. Maybe, I just don't think I've ever had good interception numbers in the sim. Have you? What defense, if you do, just give me some feedback here, because the defense, you don't get the defensive playbook. What's the best defense to get sim interception numbers? If you know, let me know in the comments below. Honestly, what could be the final on-paper slip-up for us in an undefeated season? We have 7-2 Coastal Carolina, who in the landscape of the Sun Belt, they're right on our ass, and they only have the 1 loss in conference play. So they're setting themselves up to trap us from a great season, because they could beat us and somehow leapfrog us from the standings. They can prevent us going to the Sun Belt Championship, which could likely spell us not going to the college football playoffs. So this is a gigantic matchup. And it was very close. Squeaky butthole time, but 24-21 at Norfolk State, able to get that one out of the way. No interceptions for Khalil, over 300 yards passing. Good. As we move to 11-0 on the season, 1 more win away from an undefeated. I think we've had maybe 2 rebuilds with undefeated seasons. Michael Vick might be able to achieve it. We get a shootout victory over James Madison, which gives us that 4th rivalry win for us to upgrade our skill tree, and that's the Khalil we know. A lot of decent production, still turning the football over, but our quarterback is getting hot at the right time. Same can't be said for our defense, but QBs win games, QBs win championships. So we got Texas State standing as our last hurdle of the season, but again, because of that win, I've been sitting on 140 coach points for a minute here. What do we need? Spend 25 in tactician. No, I mean, whatever. Easy work. We'll go, it's Mike Vick, so we're going to go all quarterback. Throw on the run, throw under pressure. Yeah, sure. Spin you. I mean, those are all honestly, you know what, let's go all of them. Who cares? Why not? 4-4 for tactician. It's Michael Vick, quarterback of a generation. Now we can unlock architect, and again, I think we go right all for the QB once here, because that's truly what we're chasing. And if we're not going to be able to find that great dev trait, low skill cap quarterback through our recruiting, even though we just landed one that could, let's give at least Michael Vick as many tools as possible to make the quarterbacks that we do bring in as good as possible. There's no way. Yeah. We lost? Undefeated. See, we were number, what, 6? We beat Texas State. We are top 3 going into the Sun Belt Championship game. Undefeated season on 42-7. What? That is absolutely incredible. Like, I mean, they're not 7-5, 82 overall, not shabby. Like, they're, middle of the. There's no way, man. Give me the undefeated year. So we're likely going to have to win this game to have even a chance. We got to jump a bunch of spots here to make the college football playoff, but a win against Louisiana, we played last year in the Sun Belt Championship. It'll be everything we control. If we're a 1-loss team that doesn't make the college football playoff, that's on them, not me. We did our job this year. Sim this one. Gamble, we can get the job done. At least get on the there we go, baby. 12-1. Louisiana's getting annoying. Back-to-back losses for them in the Sun Belt Championship. Back-to-back wins. We got their number. We know how to beat them. Goddamn right, Larry Tupa is getting player of the game. Goddamn right, our quarterback has got to have a make right after that embarrassment against Texas State and get player of the game. 3 touchdowns, no picks. 42-20. Wasn't even close. However, we only jumped up to 14th. God bless however the rules are, who decide who make the college football play. The 14th team. I mean, Boise State's there. They're 16th. Thank you. Oh, who we got? Undefeated Notre Dame. Cool. I don't think we need to be afraid. They're 13-0. Yeah, sure. Play the Independents. Look at the roster. We are a better roster. Go win. If we don't win, we weren't expected to win. And we could go and I really want to see that recruit. I think we're going to have We actually won. Okay, I was gonna say, because actually we're gonna have a great recruit. I think that quarterback's gonna be special. I think he's gonna be the missing problem because in the games that we have struggled to compete in, and that is not against 13-0 Notre Dame, our quarterback has just thrown an ass amount of interceptions that renders our entire team incapable of being competitive and keeping the game competitive. Ladarius Savage. Cool. Let's go, Jimmy. Slim Jimmy. I knew you. I never doubted you once. Never said a bad thing about you. And in the semifinal, Norfolk State versus Ohio State, we'll hop in on this one. Now that my team's going on a run, we got belief. I'm going to bandwagon on my own rebuild and be like, all right, no, I always thought we were going to win. Buckle up. Let's go on this run. 48-27 over undefeated Notre Dame. And Jimmy Khalil has his best 96% completion percentage, 24-25. Did get sacked one, but 5 touchdowns. That is a perfect, complete performance. Also had 61 yards on the ground. Defensively, quiet. We can win the whole thing if he plays like that. Let's see what we line up in the semifinal. And we're better in every single facet. Offense, defense, special teams, overall, head coach over Ohio State. We're going to do this. That's what it's all for. The smallest trophy known to man. We are the better team. We just have to believe that we are the better team. Turnover, touchdown. Trading points. I think if this is a low-scoring game, it's going to benefit the good guys a little bit better. You know what? Let's jump in here. And let's start this second half with a touchdown drive. Now, we know a little bit of everything about this offense. No, we don't have any superstar players on the offensive side of the ball. We are very much a collective. And can't have bad throws like that. Let's run the goddamn football. I'll say this because I know our defense can get a stop. I think if we get any points here, you know for a fact they're going to go get some points. Landers at running back having a good day. Our highest officially ranked running back, because we all know Caleb Johnson was really a 93. But Landers is in the 90s. One of the more underrated backs in the country. Let's see here. First and 10. Got a nice slant at the top of the screen. Good ball here. On time. That's what we needed. Come on. And you already know we're going to be back out there in 2 seconds. Because Ohio State's going to get the ball to start, and they're probably going to use 0 timeouts, maybe even insta score. I'd like to be more optimistic, but you know, our defense gets us a stop, and we get a touchdown. Norfolk State, year 6, and we've made the national championship game. Win the Sun Belt. Texas State, who beat us 42, they're the only team that can beat us. You're going to see Texas State banners that they're uncrowned national champions. But Khalil is playing lights out, and we need one more win. We'll make history. We get player of the week defensively, Damian Kinley, with his big interception over Ohio State. Jimmy Khalil is your offensive player of the week. Nice little momentum boosts, but the natty has been set, and we're going to have to go duck hunting. Am I shocked that we're here? Look at the tail of the tape. We're better than them. Let's go prove it. Duck hunt. I just need to know what QB shows up. Is it the QB that multiple turnovers hurts his team? Or is it going to be the QB that fights? Throws a bunch of touchdowns and clearly needs our help. Let's let him get hit here. Wake himself up. Good grab. Oh, great cut inside, Landers. Oh, that's a bad drop. Third and 7. Good ball. That's all we need. Good ball. Don't even need a great ball. It's late. But it's good. Let's go. What a ball. What a grab. Toe drag swag. And we get an interception. Let's go. It will be brutal to settle for a field goal here. I might not even. I'm terrible with short field goals. Oh, a little razzle dazzle, and he's in. That was about to be a coverage sack. No one was open. QB says, I got you. Touchback, force a punt. Oh my God, let me get out there. 24. Not even me. Took 6 seasons for Michael Vick to win a natty. I thought honestly, with how rusty I am with the team builder, again, statement I made at the beginning of the video. Like this is what we're gonna get back into, man. This is the pocket. We fell out of the pocket. This is how you reel it back in. Team builder dynasty, other stuff like this. But in this realm, this is where we thrive. And in 6 seasons, we built an absolute juggernaut team from cupcake to juggernaut. Michael Vick, Norfolk State, 15-1. Still don't know. How did we get blown up by Texas State? I don't know. 15-1. If we ignore that one, national champions. Let's get the celebration here, man. These guys earned it. What a touchdown, man. We never had like a super team. You know, I do found, like, if you go back and look at some of my other college football 25 rebuilds where we end up winning it all, especially if we win it all early before we get to that 10-year cap that we set, we have that quarterback. We got that 4-star, that 5-star. Never really, we stole a guy, 3-star from Alabama. And he has been incredibly inconsistent. But as long as you have a sporadic quarterback who has highs that match the lowest of lows, you can get a winner. I mean, that's not a great, like, I'm trying to see who gets game ball here. Did someone on defense absolutely feast? I mean, we had the one pick from Revis late. I'd probably give it to him, but natty champs, baby. Let's go. All right, let's take a look at these stats. It's 2 a.m. Christmas Day. Started recording this Christmas Eve. Had to get this out, man. It's one of those ones like the wake-up call. It's like, I got to get that video out for Christmas. So I'm going to be up in like 4 hours with the old fan. Let's get through the stats. Let's wrap this one up. We got a clean rebuild. Let me know in the comment section below what college football rebuild and or realistic rebuild you guys want to see next. Look at Khalil, 3,200 yards, 38 touchdowns, 7 picks, 70% completion percentage. Hell of a year. Run game, we go over 1,000 yards with Landers. Khalil, 6-6. Just a dynamic player. Roland Harris, 960 and 15 touchdowns for the sophomore wide receiver. 6'5", very, very tough mismatch. Really good stats across the board there for our wide receiver and for not having a 1,000-yard guy. 10.5 sacks from Larry Tupa stepping up. Elite Dev Kane Stewart with 6 sacks. We get 3 picks from Batten, who we landed in the transfer portal. Nothing too crazy on the defensive side of the ball. But I think, honestly, tail of the tape, outside of the fact that probably the most ridiculous thing is we got one of the pound-for-pound best running backs in college football to join our team in the transfer portal year 1. Shout out Caleb Johnson. Is that we did this without that S-tier quarterback. I mean, still, we're not going to dog him. He is a 91 star. But we had a quarterback here that essentially had good skill caps. We didn't even reach the max of his potential there. But when we made that decision, because we got Khalil in the portal, it wasn't maybe a situation where he should walk to the starting spot, because we had an existing starting quarterback, Gillette, who was solid. But we looked at the skill caps and we said, you know what? You know, especially you're doing a cupcake rebuild, you can't play the good guy. You can't play who earned it. You got to kind of play the numbers. And Jimmy Khalil as a starting quarterback, we broke that down when it happened. But simply playing the numbers. Dev trait, skill cap. Hopefully good things will happen. And we end up getting great things. And I like that we were able to find different ways to win. We won this with run game. We won this with defense in a lot of instances. And it wasn't, you know, the generic, we got the elite dev, 5-star, 90-something quarterback that transformed the program and won us a natty. We did it a different way. And the more ways you can do it, the better. So again, let me know in the comment section below what rebuild you guys want to see next. Thank you guys very much for watching today's video. If it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. Helps with the channel with the YouTube robots. Merry freaking Christmas. And I'll see you guys back again before too long. Peace out. Love ya. Have a good one.